So today I'm going to teach you how to do a frontside grind. Frontside grind is a must-have trick. It's super sick, it looks awesome, and you can do it on almost anything that's got a slope. There's a lip on the top where you can connect the back truck. It looks really simple, but it's actually kind of tricky. I had a lot of other frontside tricks like crail, stand-up 5-0, before I could even do proper frontside grind. I actually had to put a lot of time in practice before I could kind of get them consistently. And in that process, I kind of came across a few tips and techniques which I think will help you guys do it a lot quicker than I could. So we'll start with some turns on flat. So stand on your board and then look over your front shoulder. Turn your front arm pointing where you want to go. And then just do a little pivot turn. And just practice that on flat. This is actually a key point, pointing with your front hand where you want to go. Next step is we'll do some turns in the very, very bottom of the ramp, really, really low. Pump back and forth until you're ready to go for a turn. And when you are, compress a little as you're coming up the ramp, transferring the weight to your back heel. Point with your front hand where you want to go. Turn your head and shoulders as you do the pivot turn. Put the front truck down and compress as you come out of that weightless moment that you have at the top of the turn. Then just practice that heaps until you're super comfortable doing basic turns. Eventually you'll forget about pointing as it becomes second nature. You won't need to think about pointing your hand. All this stuff becomes reflex after heaps of practice. And this brings us to the next key point, and that is look at your back foot when you're at the top of the turn or when you're right at the top of the grind. I never used to do that. I used to kind of do frontside grinds blind, where kind of looking like this while I'm grinding here. It always felt sketchy, I didn't like it. So you want to look at your back foot as you're coming through the grind and then turn and look down the other side of the ramp once you're actually down and rolling. It feels kind of strange at first. It feels like an awkward motion, but it's really key that you practice that even when you're really low on the ramp. Practice looking at your back foot at the top of the turn before you come down. So keep doing turns higher and higher and higher on the ramp. Compressing as you come up, looking at the back foot at the top of the turn, compressing as you come back down. And just keep practicing until you get higher and higher on the ramp, closer and closer to that coping. And eventually that back wheel will clack over and you'll get a little bit of coping, your first grind. The final key point, when you do actually manage to get up there and grind, imagine that the arch of your back foot is grinding along the coping, and that kind of helps hold the truck in the right place. You want to drop in, compress as you come up the ramp, turn your shoulders early and wind up for the turn. Contact the coping, eyes on the grind, put the front wheels down, compress as you come back down into the ramp, and look back at the other side. These little bits and pieces will become reflex the more and more you practice, and you won't even think about them anymore. All you'll be thinking about is how sick it feels to do a wicked good frontside grind. Learn this must-have trick, take it everywhere, and have fun.